Our topic today is on usability, focusing for mobile application or mobile app. The definition given by ISO or International Standard Organization, it says that usability is the extent to which a product can be used by specified user to achieve specified goals with effectiveness, efficiency, and satisfaction in a specific context of use. One of the popular name in the field of usability is Jacob Nielsen. If you read his article, he have come up with a lot of research on usability, especially on web usability. Our topic is focusing more on mobile app, but the same concept in web usability could be referred when we talk about mobile usability. There are a few items where usability look into. Okay, if you look at the list here, learnability, how easy for us as a user to use the app to accomplish specific tasks. Okay, next we have efficiency. Efficiency means how fast you can perform, okay, how much resources you are using to complete it, how much how long in terms of time, in terms of manpower, energy, and so on. Efficiency, so we want to reduce the usage of time, could be money, could be resources. Next, memorability. Okay, memorability. Okay, when we want to use the app, do we need to memorize the steps or the sequence? If you need to memorize the steps, then the usability score is low. So an app should be intuitive. Once you use it, you don't have to memorize any steps to accomplish any task. Next, errors. This is very common especially in Windows. We say Windows have a lot of problems and errors, and the same goes with new software. So if you want your apps to have a higher score of usability, make sure we as the developer have to reduce number of error. We have to solve the complaint, the report made by our users. And then satisfaction. So we are going to measure the satisfaction rate or score of the app. In a shorter way, we can define usability as how easy and enjoyable it is for the user to interact with and achieve their goal within a mobile app. Okay, we want to ensure the interface. Okay, let me delete this. We want to ensure the interface is intuitive, which means we don't have to attend a course to learn how to use it. We don't have to memorize the step. Okay, so that's intuitive, efficient, and cater to the specific limitation and context of the mobile devices. So usually mobile devices have a lot of limitation. One of it, which is obviously the smaller screen sizes compared to desktop. And then we have no keyboard usually. So you have touch-based keyboard. You don't have physical keyboards. Okay, and the touch interaction should be cater the small size of virtual keyboard on your screen. Okay, and potential distraction. When you are using mobile, usually you are on the go. You are not sitting in front of your, for example, in the office. You are not sitting in the office. You are on the go. You are walking. You are driving. You are doing something else while using the app. Okay, next. Okay, these are some example of usability in the case of ease of use and navigation. Ease of use and navigation. So we want our app to be, in terms of navigation, should be clear. The design should be clear and the navigation should be intuitive, which means easy for the user to actually learn how to use the app. Next, your app should be optimized for touch interaction. Okay, so most handphones are now 100% are based on touch screen. Last time we have physical keypad, and then now it's replaced by purely touch screen. Maybe some will still have the basic button like volume up, volume down, and the power button, but most of other interaction are via the touch screen. One of the problem is we have the screen element should not be too small. It should be large enough and strategically placed, okay, for easy tapping and scrolling. Example, this is a study based on those who are using their right hand to hold their phone and navigate using their right thumb. Or most respondents are using both thumb, sometimes left, sometimes right thumb. Some would like to use their left hand, so the navigation is using the left thumb. If you see the color stretch means it's difficult for the thumb to reach that area because you need to stretch your thumb to reach this particular blue area. Okay, so this is indicated on the right thumb. This is the blue stretch area. Heart is this pink, dark pink color, and green are the natural. So if you are designing for specific right-handed person or left-handed person, you can see which area are easy for them and which are difficult and which we should not we should avoid. Hard one. Okay, so the most common button usually we put it at the green area. Okay, for the hard part usually you place element that you don't have to tap at all, maybe for display purpose only. Okay, next, so one of the solution is instead of using thumb interaction, your app should allow voice interaction as well. So this will minimize the problem of this. So voice input have overcome this limitation of stretching your hand and hard spot, which is difficult for the thumb to reach. Okay, so one-handed usability, maybe now we can overcome it with alternative input. Like most probably nowadays we can have voice input. Okay, next we can focus usability on the efficiency and task completion. So for mobile app, we want minimum number of steps to complete any task. If it have let's say 3 steps only, then should be okay. But if it's more than 3, we try to reduce the overall process, screen number or number of click or taps. We want to minimize it, reduce to 3. Okay, we have that 3-click rule. So if you search in the internet what is 3-click rule, it is a rule where the number of steps is 3 or less to achieve the outcome. Yeah. Next, we want faster loading time. Okay, faster loading time for the content. So most app usually require, sometimes it require internet connection for the content. Okay, some app you download one time and then you don't need internet to use it. But some app require an online content for certain screen. So if it's taking too long to load the content online, or it is taking too long to actually load the apps on your screen to start the game, for example, it takes more than 1 minute, then it's considered as slow. So we want to make sure in terms of usability, loading time of the apps should be minimized. Reduce the time that the user are waiting for the app to start or to load. Okay, next we have to effectively use mobile specific features. For example, push notification, okay, location services, and most of it are related to sensors, okay, gyroscope and other types of sensors, as well as for example, we have for 3D scan we have lidar, okay, those kind of sensors which are specifically available on mobile compared to, if you compare it with desktop, maybe desktop have a lot of limitation in terms of sensors. Okay, next, usability in terms of learnability and memorability. Okay, so the design should be intuitive, where you don't need to take a long time to learn or understand how to use the app. It should be intuitive. When you use it first time, second time, you already know what to do, how to accomplish the task. Okay, the learning curve we say it as short and simple. Okay, next we must have consistency throughout our design. If your screen has different design for every if your app have different design for every screen, then it will cause inconsistency. So that's not good, because it will introduce confusion. The user have to find the menu because it looks different on every screen. So we try to make the menu, if possible, in terms of usability, it should be the same on screen, on all screen that you have in your apps. Okay, so what is usability in our mobile development? One of the steps is, as a designer, you are involved in UI and UX. So let's talk about UI and UX in the upcoming slide. So UX, or user experience, one of the element is usability. If you look at this diagram, user experience involves elements like storytelling, engagement, objectives of the apps itself, and we are talking about usability now. So usability is somewhere in the UX side. Whereas in the user interface, we have the layout, the visual design, the branding, okay, the interactive design, those are in the UI. Okay, let's have a look at the differences. We give an analogy. Let's say most of you have driving license, right? So if you are driving, we take an analogy as we are driving a car. User experience is, okay, the entire journey and satisfaction of the user while using the mobile app. So if you are taking car as the analogy, is the experience, driving experience. Is it comfortable? The ride is smooth? The speed, is it okay? Safety, is it have the safety features? Okay, whereas the user interface is elements like, if you are talking about car, the dashboard of the car, how the steering wheel feels, the gear, if it's manual gear, how is the shifting, okay, and all the visible control buttons that you have on your dashboards. Okay, so these are all the visual in, if you're talking about mobile app, is the visual and interactive element that user interact on your screen. Usability. So usability, as we look at the previous slide, usability is more on the UX. Okay. So UX, user experience, here is mentioned about the whole driving experience. So here, okay, you see similarity. Usability and user experience are related. So here it says how easy the car is to drive, maneuver, and control. Okay, so here almost identical. Okay, the whole driving experience, how easy, okay, how easy to use the app, error free. Okay, so those are usability. let's see some differences in terms of UI and UX. Some of you have taken other design subject like web design, okay, and it involves similar concept, user experience and user interface. If you look at the definition, user experience, the overall experience and satisfaction of a user while using the app. User interface is the visual and interactive element of the mobile app. Okay, those are the differences between UX and UI. Okay, we have this aspect, focus, what it is focusing on, the goal, what involves, the tool use. Okay, surprisingly, the tools are identical. Figma support both. We are improving, designing UX and UI using the same tool, Figma, Adobe XD, and those who have Mac, we use Sketch. And then we have other online prototyping tools. And then the process stage, okay, it's for UX, it's early to mid stage of the design, whereas user interface is mid to the final stage of the design process. Okay, I'm not going through line by line, but if you read all the differences, okay, it should be clear what are the differences between UX and UI. Okay, if you look at the goal, UX will make the app more efficient, intuitive and enjoyable to use, whereas UI is more about the design. Okay, the app should look attractive, the app should be engaging, the design should be consistent throughout all the screens. Okay, then we talk about visual design, color screen, typography, buttons and icon, all are under user interface. Okay, next, other differences, user interaction. Okay, if UX is how user navigate and accomplish the task. First, you go to registration screen, for example. Then you can log in. Then you can add your items to the cart. Then you can check out. So those are the steps. User experience. User interface, how elements look like. Okay, the button, the forms, the animation from one screen to another. And then we have the outcome. The outcome of the UX is seamless and meaningful user journey, whereas in UI, the outcome of the UI is visually appealing and consistent interface. How do we measure the success? Okay, we measure by task success rate, time taken to accomplish the task, and we can ask the user to rate. From, for example, out of 5, give a score of your satisfaction. Okay, for user interface, we look at visual appeal, consistency and responsiveness. Example, okay, example in mobile app, how easy it is to book a ride in the taxi app. Here, for UI, how the book ride button looks and respond to the tab. So this is the differences between UX and UI if we look from the mobile app point of view. Okay, these are good resources for user experience. For example, okay, if you go to the first link, android.com, okay, this is an article about user experience. Please spend a few minutes to go through this document for Android developer. Okay, here I'm opening the link for user experience. What a great user experience look like. So here it has a few elements that we have to consider to make our app to score higher on user experience. Okay, first we look at the usability point of view. Okay, it has some advice given here. For example, use edge-to-edge layout for immersive experience. So if you click on this, it has some example. What is edge-to-edge? Okay, so edge-to-edge means your design of the app should fill up the screen from left edge to the right edge. If possible, top to bottom, unless the user prefer that the clock is always visible there. Okay, so sometimes an app will take the whole screen including the clock. Okay, or we call this a status bar. And sometimes your navigation bar at the bottom also can be hidden or replaced by the whole app. So edge to edge will make your app more immersive for user will focus on the content and have a better experience compared to an app which is not an edge to edge. Okay, other than that, we have principle like if you look at the document, it's also explaining what is picture in picture. Okay, so we can look at the sample, what is picture in picture or PIP in Android. So if you look at the sample here, if we have a YouTube video, you can play it in a smaller sub window. Okay, picture in picture. So this one is useful for Android TV and even your Android phone, starting from Android 14. Okay, so the good thing about PIP, of course, we can place anywhere we like, we can resize. Okay, so we can watch the video while utilizing, while using another app. Okay, so you can watch YouTube, for example. At the same time, you can send a message in your messenger. What else? Okay, so I'm not going through everything. We have other stuff like Android share sheet, and then we have backup and restore. Okay, that one may be not in your domain. Next, we have other aspects like accessibility, localization, and deep link. Okay, so this document is very detailed, and for beginners, I suggest we spend a few minutes to go through some of the elements. Maybe in this course, it's not enough for us to cover everything, but we at least know what are the elements that are important under user experience, for example. Okay, next, we go to another sample. Developer Android Design UI Mobile. Okay, this is a website also from developerandroid.com. It has some Android UI Kit, and then we have Material Design Community and Team Builder. If you go to Android UI Kit, okay, the official UI kit is hosted in Figma. So that's why Figma is one of the popular designing and prototyping tool, because even Android have placed its official Android kit in Figma and it's not available in other platform. So if you look at Android, is linking it to its the file is hosted in Figma. Okay, so here if you open with your Figma account, make sure you have a Figma account. It will allow us to utilize the Android kit. So if you look here, you have several type of predefined design. Okay, for example, if you look on the left, it has some guide. If you zoom in, okay, it has some screen sizes, device frame template. This one is for normal phone, vertical screen, and then we have other screen sizes. So if you click, it will be indicated here on the left. We have tablet unfolded. Okay, so for folded devices, okay, these are the template 600 times 701. Okay, and then we have this phone landscape, right? So we have a lot of other tools within your Android UI kit. You can go to the core. If you we have communication, for example, core app, navigation and setting. Okay, and we have camera and media. If you go to communication, for example, zoom in. Okay, we have templates for notification, for example. So you don't need to redesign all these basic or fundamental UI item, because we need to use the existing standard UI from Android themselves. So Android have provided the latest UI kit. We just reuse this in some of our prototyping. Okay, so if you are using an app and your app want to show some notification, you should use this template as the notification is already defined in the toolkit. Okay, same goes with Apple. So if you are an iOS developer, you should look at the iOS resources. Okay, if you look at this website, developer.apple.com, it also have this Apple design resources. So if you click again, it is providing the template in Figma, and modeling is in Sketch. Okay, so Sketch is only available for Mac machine and probably some iOS devices as well. So for universal prototyping, we have Figma as our solution. Okay, so you can make a copy of this file and use it. Okay, so iOS 18 is the latest version, and it is provided as one of the Figma template. So if you look here, we have examples. Alright, all the designs are located mostly are here. Okay, so if you zoom in under examples, we have example of a lot of stuff here. Okay, example, if you want to display the keyboard, standard emoji, okay, standard for iPad, all are already defined. Yeah, so we need to reuse the toolkit in some of our prototype. Okay, this will make our prototyping faster, because UI kit should be following the standard version provided by iOS and Android. Okay, that's all for this part. Thank you.